Good evening. You're watching Breaking Today News right here at Switch TV. I am Lincoln Wambogo. Our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. We have a lot in line for you tonight, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Mount Kenya Unity Forum elect M.KARUA as their interim spokesperson. And this week, Know Your CEO, we interact with Kenya's youngest female dental surgeon running her own state-of-the-art clinic in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. From the sports desk, Shujars shine in Vancouver with an inexperienced youthful squad. Glad you're watching. We are live on YouTube and Facebook as Switch TV Kenya. Send in your feedback and comments to our SMS line 111 Switch TV Kenya and Lincoln Wambogo on all social media handles. Normal activities were today put on a standstill for hours by the striking of University of Nairobi students over fee increment and accommodation charges. The students are, however, blaming the university's administration for weakening its own powers to defend their welfare. Robert Toma with the details.
It was not business as usual earlier today at the University of Nairobi main campus as a section of students took to the streets their complaint over 100% increment on school and accommodation fees by the administration.
Kuongeza fee, hostel fee, 5K per year to 40K per year. That's abnormal.
Sasa hii watu kuja peaceful demonstration, wanaanza kurusha tear gas. Sasa ukiona wameleta hapa GSU, sijui wanafanya nini hapa.
This did not, however, last for long as the policemen quickly responded with tear gas canisters to cover the mess and destruction that was assumed likely to be caused by the angry and fuming comrades.
Kulingana na vile serikali imeongeza school fee almost double, almost half of it. Kwa sababu kama the last students walikuwa wanalipa 26K na sasa ni 59, wengine wanalipa 47. So it is so sad and upsetting.
Parents who were in for their children administration to the university had a second thought about it as first-year students melt their last day or their first day. Despite the shuffling and reshuffling of the academic calendar in both the primary, secondary and public universities across the country, fee increment in the University of Nairobi is likely to send another bigger cohort of students to stay at home if the matter is never addressed. It's Robert Toma, Switch TV.
Despite those tear gas canisters, Robert Oba did not shed a tear. Clearly, he was cut for this. Thank you, Robert, for that story. The Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, has insisted that the competency-based curriculum will not be scrapped off despite widespread outcry over its implementation in schools across the country. Majibu Kitsao with this report.
Teachers and academic experts regarding the impact of the CBC continue to mount, resulting in divergent views in the process. The government, however, insists that the 26333 curriculum is here to stay.
What will happen to our grade 1, PP1, PP2, grade 1 to grade 5 children, a whooping 7 million of them? What will happen to our children if the court will say, let's revert to 844?
Speaking today at the KCD headquarters, the Kenya Parents Association on its part doesn't seem to take no for an answer. To them, CBC is the ultimate game changer in the education sector.
We were engaged as parents' body when the curriculum was developed by KICD. We were engaged as parents' body. We were also engaged when we developed parental empowerment manual.
The CBC curriculum was billed as the fresh start in the education system as it seeks to plug gaps noted under the 844 system of rote learning and cutthroat examinations. Majibu Kitsao for Switch TV.
Thank you, Majibu Kitsao. Now on to politics. NARC party leader M.KARUA has been elected by a section of political leaders as the interim spokesperson of the Mount Kenya region. As our senior political reporter Joel Chacha narrates, the leaders are working on a blueprint that would be served to all presidential candidates seeking votes in the region.
In a consultative meeting held today in Naivasha between NARC leader M.KARUA, former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo, and Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, among others, an interim spokesperson has been elected for the Mount Kenya region.
This forum has today unanimously chosen the Honorable M.KARUA to be our official convener and our spokesperson.
We said clearly that whenever Mount Kenya meets, great things happen.
According to the leaders, they have come together to address permanent issues affecting the region ahead of the 2022 general elections.
The blueprint we come out with will be presented not only to presidential candidates, but even to other agencies that may have a bearing. If it is security, we have security agencies.
Switch TV has also learned that a special meeting will be held in Limuru before the end of 2021 to come up with a way forward for the region in the President UHURU Kenyatta's succession. Joel Chacha, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Joel Chacha, thank you. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has waded into the mediation talks aimed at ironing the differences between President Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. NCIC chairperson Samuel Kobia says the commission is in talks with the Catholic Church, which offered to reconcile the open disagreement between the two leaders. Speaking to the media, the NCIC chair explained that it is within their mandate to focus their energies in reconciling the president and his deputy, noting that it has a ripple effect in the harmony of the country.
The youth blocked Senator Gideon Moi from accessing a part of Nandi. This incident was received with cheers from one side of the political divide and with jeers on the other political side. And on 27th of January, a clash between His Excellency Raila Odinga supporters and the supporters of Deputy President His Excellency William Ruto in Githurai led to a few being injured, and a further showed how intolerant we can be in our politics. Then on the 5th of September, we saw the DP, His Excellency William Ruto's motorcade stoned in Narumoro and being blocked from accessing a church in Kieni in Nyeri County. This is clearly a worrying trend. It is even more exacerbated by the political intolerance over the ongoing conflicts in Laikipia, in Marsabit, and other places, a situation that, if not arrested, could easily escalate to very serious land clashes. And we know that
Meanwhile, just days after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority (EPRA) announced the increase in fuel prices, a notable increase of super petrol to 134 shillings, the United Green Movement now wants the government to revise the procurement scheme of fuel to ensure that free on-board prices paid are lowered and also to reduce the prices at the pump. Flora Limuki with more details.
The United Green Movement Party, UGM, is set to petition to Parliament on EPRA's decision to hike the current fuel prices with a raft of proposals aimed at cushioning Kenyans against hefty and punitive fuel costs.
About 80% of parliamentarians do not understand the laws they pass. In fact, if you go to the precincts of Parliament today, they will be asking you, did we actually pass this VAT 2018? I mean, the VAT 2020? Or did we actually pass this Finance Amendment Act of 2018?
Na wakati mafuta ya diesel yamepandishwa bei, mwananchi wa kawaida atafinyilika, maisha yake yatakuwa ya huzuni. Hataweza kujikimu na kujimudu katika maisha yake.
This comes a few days after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority increased a litre of super petrol by 7 shillings and 58 cents and that of diesel by 7 shillings and 94 cents and kerosene by 12 shillings and 97 cents.
That government needs to consider lower taxes on diesel while increasing the taxes on gasoline.
Besides landing costs that the UGM believes is a contributor to the high cost of fuel, the party is also pushing for a bill to legislators to come up with laws that would restructure markets for transport fuel. Flora Limuki, Switch TV.
Thank you, Flora Limuki. Kenyans working online earn an average of 20,774 shillings every month. This is according to the National Study on Digital and Digitally Enabled Work in Kenya, launched today by the Kenya Private Sector Alliance KEPSA. The study, commissioned by the AJIRA Digital Program and conducted by the TIFE Research, found that the average hourly pay was 2,000 shillings on work basis. This was 2,579, and in a week the pay stood at 7,549 compared to earnings per project, which was 7,110 shillings. The AJIRA Digital Program has introduced unemployed but skilled youth to the gig economy, where they are able to create work for themselves and compete globally through multiple online work platforms.
3 years for 1 million jobs, and so we have surpassed our target, and hopefully we can double that number as we go forward. What you also realized in this study is that digital jobs are paying very well, whether you're doing it as a side hustle or as a main job. So an average of 20,000 Kenya shillings, others earning up to 100,000 Kenya shillings and more, and then being able to work from the comfort of your home or in your neighborhood without having to travel. So the costs are minimal than anyone else who's traveling to go to work or having to relocate.
Despite the socio-economic challenges occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, President Uhuru Kenyatta says that Kenya has made good progress in education, gender and climate change, among other SDG sectors. The president was speaking during a virtual address to a side meeting on SDGs convened by the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres at the ongoing 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA 76. The UN Secretary-General called on governments and non-state actors to collaborate more in COVID-19 recovery efforts by investing more in vaccination and socio-economic systems that support revival of education, social protection, healthcare and employment creation.
The pandemic has demonstrated that given the right political and institutional support, the private sector can complement the public sector to rapidly create the needed capacity and innovation to beat the virus and catalyze strong and resilient recovery. This was demonstrated during the pandemic when the Kenyan private sector actively stepped in to produce COVID-19 protective equipment. Kenya has established a strong partnership with the private sector that engages with government to influence public policy for an enabling business environment. Kenya developed a country SDG roadmap in the year 2016, which was then integrated with our national development agenda through our medium-term plan. Additionally, my administration has sharpened the economic policy by prioritizing action in sectors with the greatest multiplier effect on the economy, these being namely affordable housing, manufacturing, universal health coverage, and food security and nutrition. These actions are intended to accelerate SDGs 2, 3, 8, and 11.
With our story on SDGs, we now take a short commercial break. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more. Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. This week on Know Your CEO, we get to interact with DentMind Garden City CEO Dr. Jacinta Mwende, Kenya's youngest female dental surgeon. Take a look. Ever want to know how a CEO sees her world? And here's how. Apart from running an organization and strategizing, their key role is to ensure there is money in the bank. Our CEO this week is Dr. Jacinta Mwende, the CEO and sole proprietor of DentMind Garden City Mall. Dr. Mwende is, you can say, the youngest dental surgeon in Kenya. Dr. Mwende, thank you for creating time.
Thank you so
right
much.
Right here in the heart of Nairobi, you thought of starting DentMind.
Yes.
Why and why not employment?
Okay, I think this is a challenge that I took 1 year ago. I wanted to create something for myself, and I wanted to, to grow as a person. And when you're employed and you're out there and you're working, and there are things that you don't agree with, and then your employer doesn't buy into what you're selling to them. So you feel at peace when you start your own thing and you have the mission and the vision in mind.
You've told us about this brilliant idea that came in maybe a year ago.
Yes.
What challenges did you experience while setting up DentMind Garden City?
Wow. The main challenge that you'll actually get when you're starting your own place is to get exactly what you want and what you're looking for. And also, to set up, you need finances, you need support. So in terms of finances, you have to have a plan.
Dr. Mwende, where do you go? Where do you attend primary school?
Pardon?
Where did you attend primary school?
Primary school. Actually, I have a very humble beginning. I come from a small village in Ukambani, Kilungu Hills. My primary school is called Inyokoni Primary School. I got 231 marks. And up to now, the record has just never been broken. Hakuna stima huko, ulikuwa unatumia koroboi, but you'll still look for a way of just attaining your grades.
Dr. Mwende,
yes.
With that humble background,
yes.
Did you ever see yourself here?
I think I did when I was young.
You did?
Like in my dreams. In my dreams.
What did you envision in your dreams?
I just envisioned a girl who is, independent, and a girl who can put something that can work for herself, and a girl who will be comfortable, and a girl who will bring change, impact. You're going to touch lives.
The next part of Know Your CEO is called Quickfire. We get to know Dr. Mwende a little bit in depth. Perhaps we could just have a seat.
Yes.
Dr. Mwende, this is Quickfire. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
How often should one get a dental checkup?
Ideally, you should go to the dentist twice a year, after every 6 months, or at least once a year.
Self-medicate. This is for you. Self-medicate.
Yes.
Or visit another dentist.
Me?
Yeah.
For treatment?
Yes.
I have to go to the dentist. Look, I have braces. I have my orthodontist.
Do you know Sheng? Any Sheng words?
Now the Sheng I know, I was taught by a patient.
What is Bogi?
Bogi is like your squad.
Yes.
Yeah, you see? And actually, I was taught by a patient. I was teaching him and he's like, unajua doc nimekuja na bogi langu. Then I'm like, with that? And they're like, my squad. And then another time
what do you think they meant though?
I think my people were just...
The first time you told me, nimekuja na bogi yangu. What do you think they meant?
I have come with I don't know, like my security or my people or something. I'm not sure, but my people, I have come with.
Parting shot, Dr. Mwende. Yes. A message to the girl child.
Girl child. The world is changing, honestly. Women are taking up, these spaces, You need to match up, Keep bettering your skills so that once you go for an interview and there is a man, girl child, you need to shine.
Dr. Mwende, in all your brilliance, I'd like you to sign out and tell the audience that the conversation on Know Your CEO continues next Monday.
So the conversation to know your CEO continues on next Monday. Thank you.
And from the sports desk, as the national sevens rugby team celebrates their silver medal in Vancouver, head coach Innocent Simiyu stands out as